Welcome to the Tibet Center here at 502 North Ridgewood Road in South Orange, New Jersey. And we will begin this evening by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teaching throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. Now the Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no Nidakas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the Bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering to the knowledge of truth, where there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, "Good, good, son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice." When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge
to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Okay. So, we'll recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So, we are here in South Orange, New Jersey. Yes. And we are working towards developing an aspiration, a motivation, something or other to be of benefit to others. And this simple mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, really gets to the core of what a spiritual life is about. And so I recommend it. I really, Jungla Rinpoche used to tell us, spend more time reciting Om Mani Padme Hum. He wasn't talking about esoteric mantras of other sorts. He was saying the mantra of compassion. Work towards cultivating this wish to remove the suffering of others. Work towards cultivating the wisdom and the compassion necessary for actually being able to remove the suffering of others. So spending time reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, when you have time, when you're walking down the street, when you're driving, whenever you can, just recite Om Mani Padme Hum and think a little bit about Om. Om is Auma, the body, our body, speech, and mind, and the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha. And in order to transform our body, speech, and mind into the pure body, speech, and mind of a Buddha, we have to develop wisdom. We have to develop those qualities that are called the method aspects of practice: compassion, loving kindness, patience, perseverance, generosity. And as we cultivate those two qualities, as we bring them together, we actually transform our body, speech, and mind into the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha. So thinking about these things, compassion on one level is wishing to remove the suffering of others, actually engaging in the removal of suffering of others, but working at developing these qualities, working at developing a concern for others, working at developing the method aspects of our practice, generosity, patience, perseverance, ethics. These, we have to really cultivate them as we work towards the goal of developing the ability to most skillfully benefit others. Okay, so Om Mani Padme Hum is really, I think some people feel it's an inconsequential mantra. But no. It contains the essence of what we need to transform ourselves from the basically self-cherishing, selfish beings that we are, that I am in any case, into vehicles for actually benefiting others. Okay, so I thought I'd start with, there's this beautiful introduction by His Holiness to this commentary on the Heart Sutra, in which he really emphasizes the essence of spiritual practice, the quest for inner development. Time is always moving forward. With each passing moment, beginning from the instant of our birth, we come closer to the end, to our death. That is our nature and the nature of the universe. As spiritually minded people, it is essential for us to constantly check and examine ourselves, to see how we are living every moment of our lives. In my own case, the major part of my life is already gone, but although I am a lazy practitioner of Buddhism, I can see that each year there is some progress in my life. Above all, I try to be a genuine follower of Buddha Shakyamuni and a good Buddhist monk. Of course, even Buddhist monks make mistakes in our lives and practice, but I think I've made some contribution to this world we share, especially to the preservation of Tibetan Buddhism. So the thing that I think is particularly important is to remember that spiritual practice is it's hard work. It's not something that we can take for granted, that we can sort of glide along. We have to set our motivation. The tendency is to simply wish to please ourselves. The tendency is to be lazy. The tendency is to just do things by rote. the tendency is to be involved in dealing with this life. One of the things that is, I think, most jarring, challenging when we study the Lam Rim is the idea that a preoccupation with the affairs of this life is not spiritual practice. That's worldly practice. We can, engage in worldly practice in a good way, but if we, the definition of a practitioner of the lowest scope is that he or she is devoting himself, herself, to attaining a better future life. I know that for myself, as I go about life, I rarely even think about that. I think about maybe trying to be a better person, but I don't. I make my aspirations, my aims, my motivations are pretty much focused on this life, on the preoccupations with this life, on getting things right in this life, on solving the problems of this life and of this situation. While well, that doesn't meet it. How do you feel about this as a criterion? Yeah.
You have to use a wide-angled lens. You have to see the bigger picture.
Talking to the right guy. That's the way it come in.
Keep on going.
Not just a viewfinder, but a wide-angled lens. And I'm not a photographer, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Mickey Keller enough to talk.
Come sit.
Welcome back.
So we're beginning tonight talking about what the correct motivation should be for a spiritual practitioner.
Oh.
And I'm introducing the whole idea that if we engage in life, even as a good person, but if we engage in life really working towards living this life well and successfully and even kindly, according to a certain criterion, that doesn't meet the standard of being a true spiritual practitioner. So keep on going.
Wide-angled lens.
Yeah.
You have to look at the bigger picture, what comes in the bigger panorama, not just what's in front of you, what's here and now, but in the far distance
Other lives.
of other lives,
Yeah.
including other lives.
How would you do that though? Or how can you concern yourself with the future besides doing what you can in this life? Is that
So the idea when we talk about working not towards attaining things in this life, but towards future lives, is that we don't get involved with, preoccupied with accomplishing things necessarily in this life. We're working towards accomplishing the attainment of a better future.
But if you're working towards accomplishing things for the betterment of the world and other people, wouldn't that be accomplishing what you need for future lives as well? I'm not saying I want a new car or that kind of thing, but doing the real work of being a helpful person in this world, wouldn't that accomplish that? So you're concerned now.
That is practice. I mean,
Yeah.
you do it with the motivation. One thing you said before, it's spiritual life is hard. It's no harder than going to work. It's no harder than getting things done in this world. Spiritual practice isn't that hard. I mean, we put up with a lot just to make a living. Spiritual practice isn't that bad.
it isn't that hard,
Unless you're in
except
country college, then you're in problems.
it isn't that hard, except that bending our minds
Oh.
away from simply working
Yeah.
towards satisfying ourselves
Yeah.
and working towards being of benefit to
Yeah.
others is difficult. So no, but what Mary is asking is,
I would say if what you're striving for will disappear when you pass away or not carry on into the next life, then that is a goal that's not for a future life.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
in other words, the
Yeah.
if we are engaged in helping others,
Yeah.
if we are engaged in truly virtuous actions, that engagement itself carries on.
Yes. How else could you worry about the future besides doing that, right? And that's your option, really. I think.
So so that's the lowest. What's the next sort of level of a spiritual practitioner?
Yeah, that is
Samsara, to get out of samsara.
And what does that mean?
Stop the cycle of rebirth for oneself alone. That's the second one, I think.
How do you do that?
The three trainings.
basically wisdom.
Sorry?
The three trainings.
What are the three trainings?
Ethics, concentration, and wisdom.
Very good, Mark.
So what does that mean? Ethics, concentration. What are ethics? What are concentration in this? What is concentration? What is wisdom?
So ethics, I guess you could say, is refraining from the 10 non-virtues in your daily life. And then that supports a practice of shamatha, or one-pointed meditation, single-pointed meditation. And then that can be a support for practicing wisdom or insight into the nature of things
And yourself.
and yourself.
So could you be a Hinayana practitioner to obtain that?
Yes, that is the. So if our aim is to extricate ourselves from the problems of life, then working towards developing the basis for realizing that there is no self by means of refraining from the negative actions that would lead us further into cyclic existence, and working towards developing the concentration necessary for actually realizing selflessness, is the way by which we can actually find freedom from the cycle of life. But is that enough? Is that
Enough
for serving this world of beings?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Nice use of that. It's very good.
Why apparently not and not?
Because I don't have certainty, but the texts or the teachings say that we
So
should.
what aspect of this do you not have certainty about?
Well, there might be more than one sense of certainty, or different degrees of certainty.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm talking about certainty in terms of valid cognition.
So I think you have a certain amount of certainty.
Okay.
You
Over the years, you become, as you always said, confidence.
A certain degree of it, yeah.
And you look back 2 years, you feel better now than 2 years ago, no? You're more knowledgeable.
That's a complicated question.
Well,
Yes, overall, since I've
yeah,
been
you're
coming to
more
Tibet
articulate
Center.
and everything else, yes.
The Tibet.
And you
The
lost
Tibet
weight,
Center.
see?
That's just for this
That's
life.
what, maybe the problem is we want instant progress. And it doesn't, at least in my opinion, it doesn't happen.
So,
It's a slow crawl.
so what Tony is mentioning is so important. We have to work at this constantly. Each step of this, maintaining our if we want to attain, develop the qualities that you were mentioning, a concern for others, helping others, something beyond ourselves, beyond our little sort of nook or the people we are, attached to and concerned with. It's difficult.
To do continuous. Remember that?
Yes. Just imitate. Just do by imitation, and then
Just do continuous. In other words, you keep it going. Not a lot at one time, then nothing. Keep it on a flow. That's realistic.
yeah. And we were talking about Om Mani Padme Hum, just reciting Om Mani Padme,
Yeah.
just to remember, just to keep ourselves on track. We go off track so quickly. So
And especially when you're surrounded by people who are not necessarily thinking
True.
this way. It's very easy to get influenced.
When you guys say thinking, are you talking about like being like a continuous awareness of like the thoughts that you have that are like making you participate in the actions that you're participating in? What is this thinking?
So we're thinking, for example, about the importance of developing concern for others, the importance of refraining from engaging in actions that are selfish or negative, or trying to diminish our preoccupation with, let's say, acquiring things, working to develop contentment, working to simplify our lives and develop our hearts and our concern for others. Those are all inner things. Those are the inner attitudes that we then take into our lives. And when we step out into the real world, we're bashed in every direction. Yes? And it's only by really working at developing, what would you call it, disciplines, habits, that we can actually bring these attitudes. And we have to use like little tricks. We have to, when Rinpoche used to talk about going to the beach. And, if I go to the beach, I think, oh, how wonderful, I'm happy, I'll go swimming and he would sit there and think about all these people who are on the beach, and think about all the good things they must have done in order to merit going to the beach. And he would rejoice in the fact that they had engaged in all these wonderful things that had led them to the point of being able to have this joyful human experience on the beach. Gosh, I say it to you because next time you go to the pool, or you go to anything that you do that's fun, exactly. If you can think like that, you stand there and you watch all these people having their ice cream, and you think, how wonderful it is that they have engaged in all this good that enables them to enjoy this moment. It transforms the experience.
Can I ask a question? How is that juxtaposed? Wow, juxtaposed. I'm adding extra syllables. With the idea that like some people may be experiencing like poverty and being destitute, and they still are like, do they also not like, have they not also accumulated that merit, like to, you know, have good things or experience like lovely things, and they're not? Like, how do you hold both of those things? Like,
So there are absolutely so many people who are suffering tremendously, and it's easy to forget them and to try to work towards recognizing the suffering experienced by so many people. That's another practice of developing compassion, a wish to remove those difficulties, those challenges, the financial difficulties they're having, the physical difficulties they're having, the emotional difficulties that people are having, all of those sufferings. We have to work towards developing the wish to remove them. And that becomes the impetus for working towards attaining a state where we can actually be of benefit to them, because we're not really able to do much for. So yes, that's how.
Yeah, so it's like balancing, I guess having space for like, it seems like having space for a lot of things. I guess that's where you say like the mental activity is a discipline, because like you have to have awareness to be able to hold like these different realities that people are experiencing. So like seeing the good and like, oh, how beautiful is it, like all these beautiful people have gotten to this point to experience this thing, but also holding the like things that may need compassion, like, you know, the people who should possibly be experiencing things, or like, but are not necessarily experiencing the reality that like other people are experiencing. So okay, yeah, end of thought.
And both of those qualities, both of those attitudes, we have to work on. And that's what meditation is. It's cultivating, let's say, in terms of all the suffering people. And you mentioned the people who are evidently suffering, but there's so many people who are indulging in pleasures, not realizing that pleasure is going to come to an end, that they're going to get old and they're going to get sick, and Tony likes to tease me about this, and then they're going to die. And they may be attractive, rich, enjoying the pleasures of life, but that's going to come to an end, and they're going to suffer tremendously. And we have to develop a certain compassion towards that. And we do that in meditation. We actually think through
it's real. It's realism. It is the truth.
But it's cultivating an awareness of that realism.
On that basis.
And our what would you call it? Our basic instinctual attitude towards the world doesn't seem to go there. We have to work at it.
Yeah.
We don't want to go there. I don't know.
We want to go have the ice cream that you
Exactly. After pizza. Do the whole
thing. So maintaining the awareness, cultivating the awareness and maintaining it, we really have to push ourselves.
It's a skill.
And gosh, it's a skill that is so hard to master. And I think that the story of the meditator who sits in his cave, and all he does is watch his mind, and every time he has a negative thought, he makes a black mark on the wall, and every time he has a positive thought, he makes a white mark on the wall, and the place is black because he doesn't have any white marks on the wall. And then slowly but steadily, he works to control his mind and to develop virtuous thoughts, and thereby transforming his cave into one that has positive marks, and that's that. I don't know whether one. I would think that that was a life well spent. There are those who might have an issue with that.
No, that is a long life expense.
Just a
What would be the-
computer program that does that automatically.
I'm sure there is.
Painting on the wall, you just hit a button. and
Oh, I
it
mean,
keeps
so you don't
track.
have to do this.
But AI might be able to do the meditation for us.
Yeah, why not?
I think
For a
so.
fee.
For a fee.
For a fee.
For a fee. Sell it
Just
back.
with ads.
That's true. You know,
X, what is it? X, he put an X, or what symbol was it? Black mark? Do you remember?
that
what
was
the
Sir
symbol
Conrad.
was?
Just
Just a.
Yeah.
just a line, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Somewhere
He
across
had, you know, a chunk of, I suppose, from his fireplace.
Oh,
What's it
ashes.
called?
Charcoal.
Yeah. So what I really found inspiring is the fact that we're really, it's hard work.
Yeah.
And making any effort towards changing our mind is good. I mean, we the fact that we come here is extraordinary. It's really wonderful, and that we are working at this together. And don't think that because I wear monk's robes, it's any easier. I mean, yes, I'm devoting my life to this, but the mind is still really tough to tame. We have to work on preventing ourselves from getting sucked into worldly preoccupations, and work towards doing those things that are of value to our next life, are of value to the future.
It's also helpful to have a place where like-minded people meet once in a while. Because it really helps. On your own, unless you're a master, go in the woods.
Is there a sense of the three trainings, that sequence, or each one as a prerequisite for the next? Is there an emphasis on that?
We have to work on all three.
Yeah, but to me, it somehow strikes me today that in order to have concentration, you really need a good
Ethics.
foundation of ethics.
And then
Yeah.
to make wisdom, you need a good.
I mean, they are in that order, but you have to work at all three.
You look into all three is what I tell myself. Look into it.
But I think sometimes, for instance, if we say, okay, I'm going to work on shamatha, we might not think, well, what are my ethics like?
You'll
In
find
order
out
to
when
be
you try to
ready
see.
for
Yeah.
really developing single-pointed concentration, we need a foundation, a basis.
I know that's described very well in the long.
Well, what happens when you're trying to sit? Your thoughts go here, I want this, I want that, I want that. So the ethics should calm that down and start a physical program where you obey certain rules to calm everything down, I think. I'm the last person to ask about concentrated mind.
So,
All right. So this is still His Holiness's heart sutra.
yeah. In spiritual matters, we should not allow ourselves to be too easily content. So contentment is well, what do you think of contentment?
I hate it.
Because
He's using it in the term of being satisfied with your level.
Yeah.
Not the contentment that you really want. Yeah, you shouldn't be complacent, maybe is a better word.
Place.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, complacent.
All right, I guess everyone's reading out of the same book.
no,
No,
I'm
he's
sorry.
the only one that has it.
I'm the only one who has this. Today I'm just reading something that
Okay.
we don't all have a book for.
Okay.
It's a curveball ball. So, so there is an aspect of contentment that is really important for our practice. That is to be content with what we have and to not always wish for more. and that we've been discussing here, the if we believe that the pursuit of happiness, that we derive happiness from satisfying our desires, having outside things, outside experiences satisfy us, it's like drinking salt water. We will never be satisfied. We have to really work against that. We have to develop contentment with what we have. However, in terms of spiritual practice, we cannot be content with our attainment. There is no limit to our spiritual potential. All of us, any of us, can develop infinitely, and any of us can attain the ultimate state of Buddhahood. The mind we possess right now, though it may presently be full of ignorance and suffering, can eventually become the mind of an enlightened being, of a Buddha. Where our material possessions are concerned, finding contentment makes sense. But since there is no limit to our spiritual potential, and there is a limit to the span of our life, we must make every effort to utilize what little time we have as well as we possibly can with this precious human lifetime. Well, I thought that was very moving. I thought that it inspired me enough to wish to share it with you all this evening.
And easy to understand.
Yeah. So complacency is not helpful. Being content with our spiritual practice means that we're not pushing ourselves. So don't push too hard. So what does Shantideva say about pushing too hard or
You have to have periods of rest, he says, and which now it's time. But when you take your rest, the idea is I will do this, come back to this, but right now I have to have a rest. So the most important thing is I'm coming back. I'm going to France, but I'm coming back.
and you're back. And we're happy to see you.
I'm happy to be here. So now you have more
Went to
energy
Chicago.
to do better practice.
Is there
So-
a sense, sorry, that
Yeah.
that lack of complacency can be felt as a desire for spiritual progress?
So the desire for spiritual practice negates complacency.
I
The
think
effort that
sometimes we hear the word desire, we say bad.
No.
okay, the desire for
Spiritual progress or infinite, as Tony says, that we have this capacity to develop infinitely.
He said that.
yeah.
So we need to cultivate a desire for that.
Yeah. So you're
It's not an afflicted desire. That's what they do. There's afflicted desire that takes over you, and then there's I want all sentient beings. to
this
be-
is Bark
But is
Oh,
this
this is
a,
a
needling
this
us.
is-
Yes.
oh, I see.
well, that's tricky, isn't it? Because
Oh,
for myself, as an ordinary being, my desire will be afflicted, necessarily.
yes.
Not
Yes.
always.
But I still would think
Not always.
in those terms. So
Yeah.
not always.
No.
The desire is a live word, so people jump to a mental picture of it, which may not be accurate. There's a function of desire where you want to do something and get.
So aspiration.
That
You want to
part's
call it
good.
aspiration?
Aspiration would be better.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not desiring. We're
Or
aspiring.
Yeah, I've been sweating all night long. Oh, aspiring.
But when you sit on your meditation cushion and you think about, the negative aspects of pursuing worldly concerns and the importance of developing And if you slip and use the word desire for that attainment, I think it's okay.
Sure. I mean, we can ask: is desire and how different are desire and aspiration?
Well,
That's been discussed all the time. And there's only somewhere it said there's different types of there's afflictive and non. The energy element of desire is useful. The false view of the world is not.
okay.
Things like that.
So
Desire to run scales like Oscar.
I'll just read on a little bit. In being human, we are all the same. On that level, none of us are strangers. There are no fundamental differences between any of us. You experience many emotions. Some emotions help you, others hinder. The same is true for me. Within our ever-changing experiences, all of us are constantly experiencing different emotions. Sometimes anger, sometimes jealousy, sometimes love, sometimes fear. You experience many thoughts. You have the potential to analyze, to investigate the long-term and short-term prospects for your life. The same is true of me. Within our ever-changing experiences, we all constantly experience different perceptions, color, odor, taste, feel, sound, even awareness itself. These things function similarly in each of us. Of course, it is also possible to find differences among human beings. We each have individual experiences not shared by everyone. For instance, you may have great skill with computers, while I have none. Likewise, since I have no mathematical training, I may have great difficulty with certain things that come quite easily to you. But these kinds of differences in individual experience are minor. You and I may hold different beliefs about the universe, about reality, about religion, and even within a belief, within a faith tradition, for instance, there are all sorts of differences between people. But such differences in belief, just like differences in experience, are minor compared to our common humanity. The essential thing is that we are all the same in being human, thinking, feeling, and being aware. We all share this one planet, and we are all members of one big human family. And I think, too, that some human experiences are universal. For instance, when someone smiles at you, you feel happy. In the exact same way, I feel happy when you smile at me. Both you and I seek out what we think is good for us, and we avoid what we think will harm us. This is basic human nature. In the realm of the external material world, we are aware of what is good for us and what harms us. Then, on the basis of this careful analysis and clear knowledge, we try to create a joyful life, a successful life, the happy life that we all know is our birthright. Similarly, in the vast realm of our thoughts and emotions, we need careful analysis to develop clear awareness of what is harmful and what is helpful. We must work to increase the positive elements of our minds and weaken the force of the negative elements. And that's the work. So we need careful analysis to develop clear awareness of what is harmful and what is helpful. We must work to increase the positive elements of our minds and weaken the force of the negative elements. That's what our lives should be. The positive elements enhance our happiness. The negative elements undermine it. Thus, a clear understanding of our inner world is of the utmost importance. Shall I go on?
Sure. You feel like.
Since happiness cannot be achieved through material conditions alone, we need other means by which we can fulfill our aspirations. All the world religions offer means for fulfilling these aspirations, but I also believe that such means can be developed independent of any religion or any belief. What is required is recognizing the immense potential we have as human beings and learning to utilize it. In fact, today, even in modern science, there is a growing recognition of the relationship between the body and the mind, and an emerging understanding of how our mental attitudes impact our physical health and well-being. One very important faculty that we human beings have at our disposal to help find happiness and overcome suffering is our intelligence. Our intelligence can help us overcome suffering and find happiness, but our intelligence can also cause problems. Using our intelligence, we build homes, grow food, but through our intelligence, we also create anxiety and fear. Our intelligence gives us the ability to remember the past, and it also allows us to envision possibilities for the future, both good ones and bad. We cannot truly overcome unhappiness by physical comfort alone. Ultimately, the unhappiness created by human intelligence can only be alleviated by intelligence itself. Therefore, using our intelligence appropriately is essential. Well, I'm going to just finish this. To do this, we must conjoin our intelligence to a warm, open heart. We must bring to our rationality a sense of compassion, of caring for one another, of sharing. These mental qualities transform our intelligence into a powerful, positive force. The mind becomes broader and more spacious, and even when unfortunate incidents happen, the effect of our composure and I suppose our suffering is minimal. We are able to care about the well-being of others and not just ourselves. In fact, as human beings, we are by nature social animals, and our happiness and even survival depends upon our interaction and cooperation. So when positive emotions guide intelligence, it becomes constructive. The warm, compassionate heart is the basis of peace of mind, without which the mind will always be uncomfortable and disturbed. Anger and hatred, they destroy our inner peace. Compassion, forgiveness, a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood, contentment, self-discipline, these are the basis of peace, both external peace and inner mental peace. Only through strengthening these inner good qualities can genuine, lasting peace develop. This is what I mean by spiritual development. I sometimes also describe this as inner disarmament. In fact, in all levels of our experience, family life, social life, working life, political life, inner disarmament is, above all, what humanity needs.
Yes. Amen.
Yes. So,
That's a beautiful few pages. There's a lot in there. And easily, like a dessert, flows nicely. Really good.
and he places it, though it's a book on the Heart Sutra,
Yeah.
which is the, essential Buddhist view of emptiness, he presents a totally secular, non-religious basis for seeking spiritual attainment. So, yeah.
Maybe you can explain this to me. I'm trying to grasp this idea of desire and I guess what the sentiment towards it. Is it that like in this practice the assumption or like the belief is that like goals and desires and ambitions shouldn't be pursued, or is it in moderation, or is it in balance with like maybe inner principles that you talk about, or principle. I'm still new. That I that like
So desire.
yeah.
We were discussing desire. The trouble with desire in its sort of raw, I desire things. I desire attention. I desire. There are all these sort of objects of desire, aspirations that we seek out of this emotion of desire that cause us suffering.
Oh, okay.
And so we're working at countering the tendencies that lead to our suffering. So being more content. I mean, if we catch ourselves seeking things that we will simply, of course, we have to feed ourselves, we have to eat healthily, we have to do all those kinds of things. But if we engage in the pursuit of objects of desire in an impure way, we're setting ourselves up to be dissatisfied, unhappy.
I have a couple follow-up questions. So, is it the belief that desire is inherently tied to suffering? Is there no healthy way to desire?
So Mark was suggesting that the pursuit of, let's say, the desire to be more caring of others, the desire to be more compassionate towards others, the desire to be more satisfied or content with what we have, those kinds of desires are good. So desire is not inherently evil.
But a desire to increase one's income or a desire to improve like your lifestyle or to improve like your family's lifestyle or to get out of a predicament that maybe that you wouldn't necessarily, that's not necessarily benefiting you, that is seen as inherently not good?
No. It depends what the purpose is. If you're trying to elevate a community out of the difficulties it's having, and you desire to attain some kind of freedom from the difficulties, that's wonderful, and working towards it. But if you desire to become, richer and richer, there's a point where you're setting yourself up to be unhappy.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Like there's like this desire can have like this sensations like never ending quality that therefore is like unhealthy. But there like are aspects of desire that if you're doing it like for the upliftment of like others or like to improve like circumstances of like your community or like yourself, or by improving circumstances of yourself, possibly your community, those are seen as like positive forms of desire.
So instead of, when you say those are seen, make it totally, keep it something that you yourself see.
Right. Okay.
So as you work towards, accumulating for yourself, there's a selfish aspect to that. As you work towards helping others, there's a selfless aspect. And we haven't discussed this today, but His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who has written both these books, but has written the book that we've been studying, talks about how greater happiness comes about as we develop a concern for others rather than for ourselves. So if we're really pursuing happiness, to really work towards going beyond the mere wish to find happiness, satisfaction, or satisfy our own desires, leads to greater happiness.
Okay.
But do you want to say
No, I
something?
agree. The only way to find this out is to think it through and try to live it.
Yeah.
And then the proof is there.
I think also developing mindfulness about our desires. So seeing, checking yourself. Okay, what is it? What I'm really after here?
Right. Yeah.
And then, if it is something for this life, is it in support of something greater than that also?
You can almost look at it as constructive desire and destructive desire. One actually builds something positive, and the other one destroys something.
Or selfish desire and selfless desire.
Selfless. Well, that's can't get a word. That was a tough one.
So that's what's so great about this type of Buddhism, because you learn to analyze everything. You just don't.
Yeah, but it's being presented not as Buddhism. The whole point is to see it as being logical in and of itself without putting any kind of Buddhist. And I think that makes it more valid.
Big point. Makes it universal. Darren?
So,
Names?
so we at the end of class, there's a prayer that we recite, which is remembering. This is a little bit of Buddhism, the qualities of the Buddha, the enlightened teacher, his teaching, and the spiritual community engaged in.
What? Donate. Okay. When someone dies, we mention their name before we say this. Or, and if you have anyone in your mind, you could take with that. But that's why we ask them for names.
So we
write in, please pray for someone.
we recite the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One, thus the Buddha, Bhagavad, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavad. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He's completely liberated from suffering. He's completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He is crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavad. He abides in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavad. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavad is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration through joint palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue. I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So now we read the 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them as supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness, directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my brothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Now the prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lobsang Tulong Dorjitana, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast ways of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor's Lobsang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassable awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till sickly existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhisattva transcendence. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and rich-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tempe, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So this last prayer that we said is a prayer wishing for the return of Chungla Rinpoche, who was our teacher, who passed away a few years ago. And this is a prayer composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, requesting that he come back.
Okay. nicely. So now we have
I believe. Thank you guys. Thank you for everything. All right. See you soon.
Thank you for the lemon tart.